Hey, welcome to Fitzdog Radio. I'm glad you could join me. Take some time out from your life, your busy life. I don't know how busy your life is. I'm trying to stay busy. I've kind of taken on my New Year's resolution last year was to say yes. If somebody asked me to do something, and my first reaction is, oh, God, I could watch Netflix and take a nap. And instead I just go, okay, I'll go to the dog track. I'll go to I'll go play golf. I'll go fucking work out. Whatever. You're always, I'm doing a lot of shit. It's good. I'm going to the Dead. Or by the time you hear this, I would have gone to the Dead. But Halloween night, which is tomorrow night, I'm recording this a couple days early, I will be seeing Dead and Company, which is John Mayer with the Dead. And it's going to be amazing. Hollywood Bowl, Halloween night. And I'm going to be with like my best friends, Mike Gibbons, Pete Scott, Dudley Shotwell, my boys from college, who are just the greatest guys in the world. I'm just like so blessed that I met them and they're still in my life. And we're just going to have so much fun. My wife, who's my soulmate, who still looks good after all these years, thank God. I think it would be hard to overcome that. If you had a spouse who really didn't take care of themselves and put on 50 pounds and stopped fucking, caring about buying decent clothes and just kind of went, I don't care. Well, you don't care. I do. How about doing it for me? Let's pretend we're still dating. Maybe that's the argument for not getting married, is that people do that. They just flop. They just flop down into the marriage. No. Do yoga. My wife does yoga. She takes walks. Fucking eats, very consciously. Cooks well for us. You got to do it. You owe it to each other. Do Kegel exercises, for God's sake. Everybody Kegel. Right now, I want everybody to close their eyes and smush your genitals together and squeeze that shit. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm going to the Dead. I'm going to the Chargers game tomorrow. Chargers are playing the Pats at SoFi Stadium. We got some shitty seats. We're going to try to sneak down. Tonight, going to dinner with another couple, me and the wife. Last night, we went to a party. Well, first we went to the Day of the Dead festival. My kids went to this school, which was dual immersion Spanish-English school. And the kids celebrated Day of the Dead instead of Halloween, which is a way cooler holiday. You basically you make an altar to somebody that you loved who died. And then you put up gifts, offerings on the altar, candy that they liked, pictures of them. And then it's a celebration. And they did this incantation and this kind of prayer, and we all marched in a circle. And it was beautiful. It was amazing. So we did that, and then we went to a party with my wife is very close to the girls that were in her like Mommy and Me group when Owen was born, and these like 4 really cool chicks, and I love all their husbands. So we get together and we dance. We danced. Yep, it was a dance party. A little bit, not a lot of dancing. And then what else? Just did Sunday papers. Played a golf tournament this week in the rain. It was at Riviera, which is like the best country club in LA, and I got asked to play in this. The Emmys puts on a tournament to raise money for scholarship funds for kids to help them get started in the business so they can fucking follow their dreams. Everybody, follow your dreams. Just do it. Keep following them. You can be a famous actor too, or a producer. I don't know. I was just watching that show last night, Goliath. If you've not seen Goliath, it's on Amazon Prime. It's so fucking good. Billy Bob Thornton should be winning an Emmy every year for this show. And one of the guys in this season is J.K. Simmons, who's the actor from, he was in Oz. He was in, what was the movie about the drummer? The kid that goes to performing arts high school and he's got a hard-ass drum teacher. Anyway, you know him. You know him mostly from the Farmers Insurance. Here's a guy who, you know, celebrities, it's a very tricky thing when celebrities start doing commercials because you can kind of ruin your legacy. You can become more well-known for a commercial than, like the black guy from 24 who played the president on 24, started doing Allstate commercials, and J.K. Simmons does the Farmers Insurance, and it's kind of like, do a couple of them, but don't do campaigns year after year after year. I don't know. Who am I? I don't know what his financial situation is. Maybe he takes care of his mom and he's got a fucking special needs kid. His wife's on dialysis. Whatever. Maybe you really needed the money. But did Jennifer Aniston need the money during Friends when she did that stupid fucking water commercial? Did Mary J. Blige need it when she did a fucking Burger King commercial? Do you remember that terrible Mary J. Blige? She's standing on a table in the middle of a McDonald's and she's singing. She's rapping about a chicken sandwich. This is a woman who's won a fucking dozen Grammys. She's one of the greatest singers of her generation. Do you really need the money? This fucking Seinfeld. Do you remember Seinfeld and Bill Gates did a Microsoft commercial where they're trying on shoes in a script that I gotta think Seinfeld showed up to the set 5 minutes before they started taping because there was not a funny fucking moment in this commercial. And now Seinfeld's like, you don't have enough? You got $1 billion. What are they paying you for this commercial? $1 million? Did you need that $1 million? $1 billion is 1,000 million. Did you need 1,001 million to put your face out and look like a fucking dud? For a company that I don't even know why they're having commercials. You either have Microsoft or you don't. I don't know that there's a competition for. I just think about the embarrassment. There was one. I remember one that Brad Pitt did for a fucking perfume, and it was like they tried to look artsy, and it was like black and white, and his hair was very styled, and he did this Shakespearean kind of read, and it was like, dude, you make fucking 2 blockbusters a year. Why the fuck are... And first of all, here's my beef with it. You're taking money out of the pockets of actors that are commercial actors, like my father, who did a radio show and did voiceover commercials. And as his career progressed, more and more celebrities, people that don't need the money, are doing a money grab. And they're doing these fucking commercials, and it's knocking people out. Does fucking Tiger Woods need to do commercials? Does Tom Brady need to do commercials? No. But how about my dad, who was able to raise his kids, support his wife after he died? He had a pension fund through AFTRA, which is the radio acting and radio union, SAG-AFTRA. And to this day, my mom lives off that pension. And I just think it's fucking selfish. They just seem greedy, and it's become normal to just turn on the TV and see fucking George Clooney doing an ad with John Malkovich. What? What are you doing, you fucking money whores? I did a commercial when I needed the money. I got offered a Rogaine commercial. I don't know if you've noticed, my hair is beginning to thin. I was 29 at the time, and my hair was thinning, and I did a Rogaine commercial. And I needed the fucking cash, and I struggled with it. I didn't know if I wanted to do it. And I did it, and I got health insurance. I had just gotten married, was about to have a kid, and I got that money. That's why you do it? I don't know. Who are the other bad ones? Remember, Whoopi Goldberg did one for like Depends undergarments. Yeah, I don't think it was for Depends, but it was that was the product. Wee Wee pads. And I don't know. She won an EGOT. She got the Emmy, the Grammy, the Oscar, and the Tony. She got them all. And now you did now you're pissing yourself for another couple grand. Why? How much do you make on The View? How many? I bet she gets $7 million a year for The View. Easy. Easy. Who am I? I would do a commercial too. I don't know if I'd do a commercial. I like doing my radio ads for my podcast because I believe in them. All right, I got some mail. I got a nice note from a woman, Lucia. Is it Lucia or Lucia? Lucia. I like Lucia better. I'm going to call you that. This is a woman who said, I sent you a video a while back asking to open for you in Vancouver back in 2019, November. Anyway, I thought I'd share a little exchange. I remember watching her videos. She's very promising, very interesting young comic. Not young. She's not young, but she's a new comic. And she said, I thought I'd share a little exchange with you that makes me feel like I have arrived in this industry. It's relative, I'm sure. I had done 10 minutes of stand-up during a burlesque show at an event center here in Victoria, BC. After the show, one of the dancers came up and thanked me for boosting the energy in the room for her performance and that I had done well, better than the first time she had seen me. Great podcast, Sunday Papers, take it easy, Lucia Ribeiro. See, now, for some people, you might read that and go, oh, Jesus, wow, a stripper thought she was funny. Let me tell you something. When you were coming up in comedy is, it's either working or it's not. You're getting laughs or you're not. And when she goes up there and another performer, and let me tell you something, strippers understand what it's like to go up in front of a group of people that may not be predisposed to enjoy what you're doing and to take control of that room and to assert yourself and to pull it off. And that was a real compliment. That meant something to her. And I know as a comic coming up, like, you take it where you can get it. And it is meaningful. It does mean something. And I'm proud of you, Lucia. Good job. And I got one from Elegant Johnson is the name. The Human Stain was published in 2000, not in the 1950s or 60s, as you have said at least twice on your podcast. Did I read this correction already? I can't even remember. Yes, there's a Human Stain is a book by Philip Roth. And it was about a college professor who had said something that was deemed inappropriate. It was very prescient about what's happening today. Highly recommended. Philip Roth is maybe top 5 novelists in American history. Great book. And I'm sorry I got the date wrong. This was a nicknames. You know, we do nicknames on the show. This one, John Moffat writes in, a friend in the Cleveland Fire Department works with a guy named Ron. When another guy started working at the station named Ron, he was nicknamed Moron. Yes. As Brody Stevens would say, yes. He also pointed out, I was talking about the name Dick and people named Dick and how fucking weird that is to have that name. And he sent me a bunch of baseball cards with players named Dick, including, and these are real, Dick Felt, Dick Pole, Dick Shiner, and Dick Wants. In other words, when they read the attendance in class in 5th grade, the teacher said, wants Dick. And you had to say, yes, here. That's me. I wants Dick. All right, let's get going. I want to get to my podcast my interview right away. I had such a good time talking to Dave Koechner yesterday. He's a dear friend. He's a soulmate. We've gotten to know each other very well over the last 21 years that I've known him. I first moved to LA and I had sold a pilot to VH1 that I got him to be in, and he fucking tore it up. It was great. And we've been friends ever since. We, what else have we done? We went to the Aspen Comedy Festival together, and he was with Naked Trucker, his sketch partner, and they won the festival for best comedy sketch group. And I won for Best Comedian, and we celebrated together. And then he came on the podcast. He was convinced that we're related. And so he insisted we both sign up for Ancestor DNA, and we both did it. and we checked, and we are not related. But it got me on Ancestry. And then another podcast, we were both talking about how many people we knew that were having great results from doing meditation, from TM, Transcendental Meditation. So we went to classes together. We signed up for TM, and I stuck with it. And I don't believe he meditates. I think he needs it, but does not. So, and I found out just yesterday that Beth Hoops, who does my podcast, she produces my podcast, also does all of his work. So we have that connection. You know him. Do I need to list Dave Koechner's credits? Are you shitting me? How about F is for Family, The Office, Anchorman, Saturday Night Live, Austin Powers, Man on the Moon, Talladega Nights, Thank You for Smoking, Semi-Pro, Anchorman 2, Superior Donuts, that TV show, Twin Peaks, American Dad, The Goldbergs he's on right now. I mean, whatever. If you don't know Dave Koechner, go fuck yourself. Shut off the goddamn recorder. No, actually, listen. Then you'll know him. All right, enjoy this. This is Dave Koechner. And don't forget also, the premium membership for Fitzdog Radio is available. If you go to fitzdog.com, you can find out how you can sign up for like less than $2 a month. You can get all the 870 back episodes, and you can support the show, which is a very nice thing to do. So sign up for the premium membership. Also, I'll be coming to San Francisco this weekend. I will be at the Punchline on November 4th through the 6th, coming up with my wife. She's coming with me. So come out to a show, say hello, and get tickets at fitzdog.com. Okay, here we go. Enjoy.
This podcast affords me something that I prize, which is an opportunity to sit down for an hour and talk to dear friends who I otherwise would only see in a comedy club for 5 minutes between sets, and we'd be interrupted by somebody who wants a selfie, and we'd be at a premiere and see each other. This is a joy to me. David Koechner, welcome back to the show.
It's a joy for me as well. And as evidenced by that, you and I have been talking for 10 minutes, trying to catch up and bond over our life experience that we both have had, and commiserate and whatever else. And then we probably have touched on 10 subjects already before we decided to record.
Right.
Just to give those that are patient enough to listen to us.
I think that there should be people do Patreons, and I think that we should do the pre-show Patreon, the foreplay, the shit that really people want to hear about.
Basically, what were you bitching about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Who did you trash? That's what the segment is called. Who did you trash?
Oh, right. And it's typically people that are closer in our lives rather than other celebrities.
Right.
Yeah, we're not dishing on peers.
No, we don't do that.
And if we did, it's because they deserve it.
Yes.
But yeah. I guess it would be a real insight to our lives.
I've been pretty judicious about not bad mouthing other comedians in my day, but I have on occasion done it. And it feels so good that it's bad. It's like eating cake. It's like, all right, I can do this a little, but take it easy. This isn't going to go anywhere good.
Yeah. And for me, it's more of an exploration of how is that person deserving of an audience?
Right.
And then so the investigation as to why that person is followed or being watched, you understand what the audience wants.
Right.
And then you go, my only problem with it is, well, I would never do that.
Yeah.
I guess, it's like, that's not good enough. Well, yeah, it is. People like it. It's good enough. Fine.
Yeah.
And the other thing is there are people, many people who are incredibly popular that I sometimes don't quite get. Like, I don't understand why that's popular. Fine. But the thing I have to be in gratitude about is those are the types of people that bring people to comedy clubs who wouldn't have gone in the first place.
Yes.
Some of these people have become so incredibly popular. And I say, well, there's no mystery to what they do. And that's why they're popular.
Right.
But then that gets those people to take a chance on another comic that's coming to town. I have found out that I'm capable of going to a comedy club and I don't have to feel bad about myself because I go, I don't get it. And I think that's what keeps some people from going. It's like, I don't think I'm going to get the jokes.
Right.
Well, what you do then is you go ahead and watch, what's that show? The one that's very popular. It's almost over.
About the smart kids?
Huh?
About the smart kids?
Yeah.
Sheldon, what is it?
What was the original show?
Big Bang Theory?
Thank you.
Yeah.
The most popular show on television is probably the least complicated.
Yes.
Or I'm going to say the most obvious. Now, I can't rail against it. There it is. God bless. But it might get people to take a chance on a smarter comedy.
Right.
That's why it was always puzzling to me. Why weren't there 10 Seinfelds?
What you mean? Because it was accessible or because it was smart?
Smart.
Right. They tried many Seinfelds, but it was lightning in a bottle. You know, I mean, when you see Curb Your Enthusiasm, you say to yourself, all right, my esteem for Jerry Seinfeld just went down 8 notches. And I think Seinfeld's fantastic, but you really see that it was the genius of Larry David. The tone of that show was Larry David.
Right.
And, you know, I just don't know how often a show comes along. Veep is a show that I also think is kind of lightning in a bottle, and it's doing a sitcom in a way that it hadn't been done before. You know, they were on many levels. They tackled it. They did politics in a way that was so real. Frank Rich is a consultant. He's an executive producer on the show. Frank Rich is a writer for the New York Times. He'd never worked in sitcoms in his life, but you can feel when a show is that specific and that real. I think it may be smart. It may be a little harder to work for, but when it's that specific and real, I think people can connect to it, even if they don't know that world, even if they don't know politics.
Yes, because it is exploring the human foible. And that is always how we operate, rather than operating from some actual logical determination.
Right.
You know, we are ruled by the weakest parts of us.
Yeah.
And then most of us keep that in check. But then what if we just act like we're always ruled by the weakest parts of us, but you're in power?
That's what Curb Your Enthusiasm is.
Yeah.
Right.
And Veep, right?
Right. Or Veep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we talked, I had introduced you to my new full-time assistant. And for anyone that wants to hate Hollywood people for having assistants, it's not a glam thing. I have 5 kids, and even now it's a constant hustle. I have about 5 different things I have to deal with every day for business, and then put the 5 kids on top of that. That's why I have an assistant. Now that's a codependent desire for me to explain to your audience why I have an assistant. But we were just talking about that because his name is Jens, spelled Jens. And I found that every time I introduce him in an email, I have to say pronounced Jens, then parenthetical, his father's from Denmark.
Right.
And then if I feel like adding more jokes to the email, I will try to not. But anyway, I used to add, I'm trying to have it legally changed, but I'll let you know how that goes. So anyway, I introduced you to Jens this morning, and you went into a story how you had been to Denmark because you started asking specific questions about where his father grew up. And that's why I'm going to ask you to take up that story. So what's the year?
The year is 1984. Mm-hmm. I have graduated from high school in 1984. I worked for 6 months. I was like you. I was a fucking hustler as a teenager. I earned, baby. I worked as a parking attendant at a country club during the day, and then at night I was a cook at TGI Fridays. And I did
2 jobs.
And I worked for 6 months. I worked both those jobs. And then in the fall, I took my money and I had saved, and this will really date me. I saved in that time $3,000, which was enough money for me to go to Europe for 6 months on my own with a backpack. And that's how cheap I was living. And I went to this town, this small town in Denmark called Vejle, which your friend there, your assistant, knows the town because it's near Aarhus, where his father was from. And I lived with these Danish people, and they were the most beautiful people, just athletic and blonde and blue-eyed. And I actually had dark hair, and that got me girls in Denmark because everybody looks the same. Okay, everybody looks like.
Let me just interject a joke, if I may. So you were staying with a white nationalist dream house, based on the look, anyway. So you didn't know these people.
I met one of them. He came over and he stayed with my friend Pete Cars in New York. Uh-huh. And so we took him and then these two girls, all from this town, stayed at my friend Pete's house, and we took them out to the city. We were only like 17, but we'd bring them to the nightclubs in New York City. We got them high. We tripped them on mushrooms. We hung out with them, and they loved it. So we had this open door when we went to bed. They're like, stay as long as you want, which for me meant, okay, 2 months sounds about right.
Had you planned on 2 months, or just ended up being 2 months?
It just ended up being 2 months. It was just, we were having so much fun. Wait, is he right there? Can he go on camera for a second?
Who, Jens?
Yeah.
Jens. Yeah. Come down, please.
And so they taught me all the Danish curse words, and we would drink Carlsberg beer in the bars.
Pull a seat up, Jens. This is Jens, spelled Jens, pronounced Jens.
And he is in fact a white nationalist, which works out well with Koechner.
Yes. Norway has had a more recent problem with that, but then in Denmark, that's where the bow hunting incident happened. Was that Norway again? Where the guy was
that was Denmark.
With a bow and arrow?
Yeah.
That sounds like Norway.
No, we talked about it briefly.
Yeah, it just sounds like something they would do in Norway, though.
People have to know that, like, Danish people look at Norwegians the way we look at who do we look down upon as a country?
It's not Canadians, because it's worse than that.
No, they are our New Jersey. And so, because the problem is the Norwegians, they're only allowed a certain amount of alcohol, and then they come to Copenhagen and they drink as much as they want. Don't they like meter out the alcohol in Norway?
Yes, I believe it's something along those lines.
Yeah, they get like 2 liters a month or something. So they come to Copenhagen and they make asses of themselves. So,
so what you're describing to me are Americans.
Exactly. And
now,
so
just because I'm compelled to do this for the audience, Denmark, if you're from Denmark, you are not Dutch, you are Danish. Norway, Sweden, and Finland are the overhanging penis near Russia. It's that phallus that hangs up north, correct? Dutch, those are the Netherlands, and the Netherlands is just north of France.
Yeah, is that how geography works?
Right?
Yes.
So if you're a Dane, you're not Dutch. You're from Denmark. I'll help you. Hamlet was from Denmark. Okay. That's as far as I feel like I have to help our audience to know what we're talking about. Please,
is this all from your 10th grade term paper?
I heard turd paper. I work in show business. All right.
So I want to ask him to translate a word for me in Danish.
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
Jens.
Fisa.
So funny story. I don't actually speak Danish.
Oh, okay.
You're close to being fired.
Yeah. This is. Yeah. There goes his sitcom. He was going to try to get you to get him on a Danish sitcom.
Gotcha.
It's
what's the word again?
It's fisa. It's the dirtiest word you can say in Danish. It means cunt, basically. And
I love this word.
So I didn't know what it meant, and the guys that I was staying with told me that it meant like, "Hey, like how you doing?" And so every time I would go into this bar, there was the Tartan Pub in Vaile. And every time I would walk in, it was like cheers. And I would walk in the door and I would go, Fiza! And then all the women would go, hey, what the fuck? And it means guns.
Oh my God.
But I slept with some beautiful women. I was 18. I was beautiful, David. I had a full head of hair. You should have seen me.
Isn't that interesting? It was just that thing. It wasn't, but they weren't even interested in your personality.
No.
It's just different.
Yeah.
I'll bet his pubic hair is the same color. I've never had that. In the morning, I'm going to do a close examination of my pubic hair and see if someone was left behind. Just to show my girlfriends. It's so, it's just really just, I'll try that candy bar.
Yeah. So wait a minute. So is your father an alcoholic?
My father? No, my grandfather was.
Your grandfather was an alcoholic.
I love that. And I already knew the answer.
Was it bad? Were there like stories about him?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's several.
I'm going to give you a quick one that I discovered yesterday. Your father's name is?
Ken with 2 N's.
Why?
Because when my grandfather was filling out the birth certificate and paperwork, he had a couple of drinks. And
Not a couple.
And he's spelling out K-E-N. N, and he ended up with 2 N's in his name. It's not short for Kenneth. Not short for Kenny. Just Ken with 2 N's because he did.
You could have corrected it the next day. But guess what? I forgot about it the next day because I got drunk again. And that's why the Norwegians will never conquer anything. You were mad yesterday in Denmark. I forgot why I got mad. Why? Because I'm drunk now again.
This describes the entire Viking Inquisition of Northern Europe.
Well, the Vikings at least were industrious.
Yeah. I mean, I read Hagar the Horrible every Sunday, and that guy goes to work.
The Vikings did everything that the bad white people did, but they just wanted to go there for a vacation. They didn't want to fucking colonize the people and start chopping off their limbs and making them continue to work.
That's right. Yeah, they want to swing through, little raping. There was a sprinkling of raping that happened. And if you check your ancestor DNA, everybody's got like 1% of some kind of Viking blood in them. A little Norwegian.
You're Irish, and so am I. Everyone thinks Irish have red hair. That's from the Vikings.
That's right.
The Vikings kept coming over.
Yep.
Where's the closest rape spot? That one down there, Ireland. Let's go. It's been a while.
And guess what? They got dark hair. You're gonna love it.
Oh,
not for long. Not for long.
Oh, have you watched Terminate All the Brutes? Or
oh my God.
Exterminate All the Brutes. You've watched it?
Dude, very slowly. One episode at a time. You don't binge that show.
It should be required viewing for high school.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't like critical race theory. Fine. Let's watch TV.
Yeah.
That explains everything you need to know about the horrible things that white people have done to the globe.
Yep. Yep. And the British, here's the thing about the British, is you talk about the Nazis and what they did in World War II. And let's not leave out World War I, where another 40 million people died because of their actions. They don't compare to what the British have done throughout the world in terms of colonizing, genocide, destroying cultures. They're the worst.
Yep. Yet there's still a queen that people care about.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Tell me about your good works.
Right.
I at least, what's her name? Who are the two that are still decided to stay there? The older boy.
I ignore that.
Is that Harry?
That. I don't pay attention to that.
William,
I think.
He and his wife have come out, and it's very remarkable. They decided to stop buying new clothes. And
Is that right?
They're going to keep wearing the outfits they have.
If I was him, I would go into whatever the National Archive is and find those old fucking king robes with the fur collars where you almost look like Santa Claus. That is what I would wear every day.
Fuck yeah. A different one every day.
A different one every day. Purple, always purple.
And if you pulled it back, you would see a sash holding a sword, different sword every day.
Yes.
Just because. And people say that's dangerous. Really? Go to fucking Texas. They're giving out guns.
You have a sword on one side and a flask on the other.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, that's right.
No, we've moved on past Norway. Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have more Dane-centered questions?
Yes, I had, when I was there, I slept with a girl, and I got a case of the crabs, which it turns out are international, not just in the United States. They're global now.
What is it? Was it discovered the next day?
It was discovered when I felt really bad because I'm staying at my friend's house, and now I've infested his bedding with crabs. And so I didn't want to tell him. I just wanted to clean it all up and get it done with. So it was nighttime, and I found an all-night pharmacy, and I go in there, and it's like midnight, and I am scratching, and I walk up to the pharmacist. She doesn't speak a word of English, and I have to somehow ask for crab medicine. So I'm standing there, and I start kind of scratching around my crotch, and she's not getting it, and I'm making little claw hands. And I'm saying crabs, and all of a sudden she gets it. She starts scratching her own pubes, and then she goes, yeah, and she gives me a bottle and a little comb, and I go back and I don't know if you ever had crabs, but man, it is so creepy to know that there are these living things and they're crawling all over you. And so you put the shampoo on, and then you take the little comb, and you got to comb out all of the mites, the eggs that are at the base of your pubic hair. And people go like, I can't understand these young people shaving their pubic hair. Hey, guess what? Crabs is almost gone. They got nowhere to live.
Nowhere to live. Yeah. And it never transfers to the scalp.
I'm not sure.
I'm guessing because it left unattended wouldn't migrate. Yeah. But it's so intense that you never gets a chance to migrate. At that point, did you consider shaving yourself?
It wasn't done. It wasn't done back then.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I literally, I didn't know a single person with shaved pubic hair back in the 80s.
Right. So, and you had to use the comb to bring out whatever's live, and then you treat whatever's embedded.
Yes.
And how long does that take?
You have to go 2 or 3 sessions to really get it. And then you have to take the bedding, and you have to wash it at the highest temperature. Every
day?
Yeah, I think I did it twice to get everything out. And I was fortunate. The guy I was staying with, Henrik Hess was his name. And he was a sport. But these girls, I can't go on enough about it. There was one girl who I slept with, and she was a model. This is when I was in Copenhagen. She was a Danish model, and I had sex with her. And then I wrote in my diary, I was keeping a journal, and I wrote, slept with Susanna last night. She's very beautiful, but not really that good in bed. Right?
Oh my God.
So she went into my room another day and read the diary. And she got so mad that she started yelling at me and insisted that we have sex again. And she fucked my brains out. She went at it like she was on the Danish Olympic team. Wow. Yes.
Well, I have to ask a question. The first time you had sex, was it the difference between her just being compliant the first time? And I mean more like
passive. She was passive.
Mechanical, yeah. Yeah. And so the next time she was quite active for her enjoyment.
No, I think she didn't want Americans to think that Danish women didn't know how to do it.
She was doing it for the entire country.
She was doing it for she had a flag in her hand when she was doing it. She stuck a flag in my asshole when we were done. She planted it.
Well, the only difference is this time the flagpole had a flag on it. The other time was neutral. But that also, I'm sorry I had to bring it back, but that kind of screams of a nationalist attitude.
Yes. Yes.
Don't you tell me the Danes don't fuck. Oh my God. Now here's what I did tell. We don't want to put off any female listeners, but when you're young, it's in the male DNA to do this. We don't have a choice because we are flawed at birth because the design of our DNA is go fuck.
Yes.
We are necessary to populate the earth. Now we don't intellectualize that. We only are compelled to fuck.
Well, and also add to that physiologically, our genitals are outside of our body. So they are rubbing against the inside of our pants, being stimulated constantly. The vagina, tucked back. It's inside. There's no friction. It's waiting.
It's patient.
Yes.
It's kind.
Yes.
Like your marriage vows. Oh.
Yeah. So it was nice. And then she continued to have sex with me and then asked me to get her a green card to come to the United States. She said, you need she goes, yeah, you need a sponsor. You need to get me a letter from your parents saying they will hire me to work for them. And then I get green card. And so my father saved a letter that I sent him. And he was like, and he goes, I get home and he goes, show me a picture of this girl. And so I showed him a picture and he goes, yeah, that explains it. He goes,
oh my God.
He goes, she had sex with you, didn't she? I was like, yeah. Yeah, she did.
Wait, but were you in her room or she was in your room in Copenhagen?
No, I was in her room.
So you were staying for a week in Copenhagen at her place?
No, she was like part of a friend group that I kind of got into from Henrik. Henrik has put me in touch with another friend group in Copenhagen. So I was staying with one guy and she was over there all the time. It was like a big hang.
Oh,
and then
okay.
Sometimes I would go over her place.
Because I was just trying to figure out how the fuck she got to your diary.
Yeah, she was over at his house, went through it.
Well, but that says everything you need to know about her as a human. You crossed a boundary immediately.
She did.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But she's also not the person that gave you crabs.
No, and it's entirely possible. I was sleeping with a different woman in Vejle, and she didn't speak a word of English. It was just a purely physical. We went to see Prince's Purple Rain. It was 1984, and we saw Purple Rain, and they had mushrooms and hash. They don't smoke pot in Denmark. They smoke hash. And so we smoked hash and took mushrooms and saw Purple Rain. And then I went back and I had just transcendental sexual activity with this woman. And then we just had this physical relationship. And I think she gave it to me.
Did you ever contact her and say, oh, you couldn't? Did you have Henrik contact her and go, hey, are you scratching down there? Because the thing is, herpes, a lot of times people don't know they have it.
Right.
Crabs, you know you got it.
You know you've got it. Yeah. Have you ever gotten it?
No. And I didn't ever get herpes either.
Were you promiscuous in your day?
Yes.
Okay.
As much as possible.
Right.
You've met me, so my mouth will keep so many opportunities from coming to fruition.
Because you're not a bad looking guy. You're not hard on the eyes.
Right. But I don't shut my mouth. Right. He's exhausting.
I wanted to have sex with him, but I didn't want the pillow talk afterwards.
Or before or during. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. I love that you, in some ways, were a remuneration for all the conquests that the northern people punished our people, the Irish, with. So you exacted some revenge throughout that area of the world.
I like to think, I spread the crabs around a little bit. I created an insecurity in the sexual psyche of the women of the country. And I didn't get into any fights, though. I was good about that. I used to get into a lot of fights at that time in my life, but I think I was afraid to fight in Denmark. Those guys are pretty tough.
Yeah. Well, that's another subject that I'd like to open up. But did you ever give your crabs to someone else?
I did not, but I did at some point have a little thing called chlamydia.
Uh-huh.
And that was indeed given to me. And then without my knowing I had it, I gave it to somebody else.
I've done the same thing. And that was early 20s. Because a man especially won't know he has chlamydia at all.
Right.
The female will get a urinary tract infection or something pretty quickly.
Yes.
And they'll let you know.
Yes.
I didn't know I had it.
Well, and I had to tell a girl, and then I told the girl that gave it to me, and then she turned around and told, this was in my town, and she turned around and told everybody in town that I gave it to her. And it's like, no, you gave it to me. You can't fucking do that to me.
Wow.
But I had already told the other girl that I gave it to her. So she was able to triangulate and say, well, clearly he's giving people chlamydia. So he's the one that gave it to me.
How many girls did you give it to?
Just one.
But again, innocently, you did not know.
Didn't know. I mean, look, it was the 80s. We should have been wearing condoms. You know, AIDS had come out.
Yep.
And there was a time where we should have been really careful. And I don't know, teenagers are just like, my son, I just beat it into his head from the time he was 13 years old. You got to wear a condom. You got to wear a condom.
Yep.
And so far, no girls have been knocking on the door. So
I've had very specific conversations with my oldest daughter one day when she was still in high school. And I was trying to be as businesslike as possible, talking about, listen, if you don't know the guy, if he's not willing to show you a blood test, you can never have any skin on skin. He can't touch you with his mouth on your skin down there, and you can't do that to him.
You had this conversation?
Yep.
Good for you, man.
Just because I'm like, this is just, you don't want to get that stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for you. I mean, that's very modern. I can't imagine. I'm sure you couldn't imagine your father. I know you've got a couple sisters. I can't imagine your father had that conversation with your sisters.
No. And I just remember at the end of the conversation we got to school, she thanked me for it. And not to be a dick, but I said, has your mom not had this conversation with you? And she goes, no. I said, okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's it takes a certain level of I mean, parenting is so hard. I mean, I know we have sons around the same age. How old are your sons?
Charlie is 22. Sergeant is 15.
Right. So I knew we had one son the same age. So yeah, my son is he's 21, and I'm finding now it's like getting your test back from the teacher. Oh. Like seeing how your kid has turned out you're getting graded on how you did as a parent when they were little. And with my son, I feel like I got an A. I really did. Like, this kid has got his head on his shoulders. And then I get the paper back on my daughter and I go, man, I forgot to study for that one.
Now, part of my thinking was they're going to see how hard I work. So I'm not going to take what I consider to be punitive measures to instill a work ethic in them. I started working for my father when I was 7. And I mean it. I worked for him and it never stopped. I went to his manufacturing.
In a turkey coop, right?
Yes. My father, I start like this. My father had a medical fabrication business. So that gives him the idea to see what we're dealing with. Then what he made was livestock trailers. He made livestock trailers for turkeys, because otherwise people will think my dad made things out of chicken wire. Anyway, so I went to work for him when I was 7, and I don't remember how many days a week, but I'll bet you it was 3 after school. And then as I got older, the number of hours increased. So I worked all my childhood, and I did not like it. I was very resentful. So when it came time to raise my kids, the pendulum swung way too far the other way.
Yes.
So I was really not enforcing the chores and all of that, guardrail responsibility on them. And then later on, it shows up. You're like, get a fucking job, bro.
Right.
And I always hated this. When you're 18, you start paying rent or you move out.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? Really?
Yeah.
But the other thing they're not doing is, what do you like best in life? Let's find a way for you to make money doing the thing that you love to do. So you never work.
Right.
Anyway, I always thought they're going to see how hard I hustle. So you become hustlers. Now I have started telling them, you're spoiled rotten. Yes? Yeah. Great. That's all I need to know. Because you're letting me know that you understand the life you're living is not real.
It's not sustainable. It's not going to be like this in the future. But I'll tell you what, my daughter, who is never done a dish in her life, who will get out of anything, she started working. She found that she loved babies because there was a daycare center at her school. She went to Santa Monica High School, and they had a center that was for children of teachers and children, well, babies and of students. So she started volunteering 1 hour a day to basically hold the babies. And she fell in love. She was like, this is what I want to do. And so she went and she got a job at a preschool. And she's been there for almost 2 years. And she was working full time during the pandemic, 40 hours a week, and never late, never complained, came home feeling great about the job. And I was like, maybe once they're in the real world, they live by a different set of principles and work ethic than they do at home, because she found something she loved and she's working hard at it.
How old is she?
She's 18.
Oh, okay. So 2 years ago, she was at 16, she was hireable?
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't know what the rules were these days.
She wasn't allowed to do certain things when she was only 16. She couldn't change the diapers. I guess there was whatever. Responsibilities aren't you're not allowed to, but now that's what she's going to college for. She's taking early childhood education.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And now my son is in Chicago, and he's going to DePaul.
Oh, has he been the whole time?
Well, yeah, he started there.
Oh God,
so
what a great
junior.
city.
Yeah. Isn't it great?
Yeah.
He loves Chicago. He goes out and, because he's in Lincoln Park, which is like one of the best neighborhoods.
The best.
You got everything there. And so he skateboards around. He's got a radio show on the college station. So they get free tickets at all the rock clubs in town.
Yes.
So he's working that angle. He's playing club soccer. He's got 5 roommates, and they all they're not party animals. They cook. They go to the art museum. Like they're really together. I'm so happy he's getting everything out of it. I mean, he got fucked, obviously, with COVID because he wasn't in school really last year at all. So he's just getting in the rhythm of school again now.
Well, he's a senior.
He's a junior.
Junior.
Yeah.
Has he ever had crabs? You know why I'm asking? I heard 5 guys in the same place. There's crabs in that fucking apartment.
And they're
I used
close.
to live right by there. What is he? He's not living in the dorms. They're in an apartment.
Yeah, he's up near Wrigleyville.
What's the streets?
Oh, Jesus. Hold on. Let me look it up.
I lived in that area for a while when I first moved to town. There was a hot dog stand under the Fullerton L.
He's on Seminary Avenue.
Seminary.
Yeah.
Seminary and what?
I don't know. North Seminary Avenue.
Okay.
I think he's one train stop north of Lincoln Park.
Okay. Well, that's a bunch of stops. So it's maybe north of Fullerton. Yeah. So the schools I went to were all in that area. The Improv Olympic, which is sadly closed, and Second City. And then it's right near the DePaul. But that's a great area.
He's a few blocks from the Laugh Factory. He's a few blocks west of the Laugh Factory. Right.
Got you.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Wow.
Yeah. And,
that is Clark or Fullerton, and it might be Clark.
Oh, it is Clark. Now that you say it. Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
I mean, it's the closest area to New York City in Chicago. And by that, I mean, it's walkable, it's populated, and it's got so much stuff to do.
Did you used to go to the Art Institute when you lived in Chicago?
No, I went once. And when I left the town, I was like, are you kidding me, Dave?
Yeah.
You didn't take advantage of all these things. There's a statue of Goethe somewhere in the Lincoln Park area.
Oh, is that right?
It's like, well, why don't you find every fucking statue in town that has that commemorates a literary figure, Dave? No? Okay. It's got the best museums and everything else.
It does. Great blues clubs. I used to go to the Kingston Mines all the time when I was in Chicago. I took him there. I wanted him to go to college in Chicago so bad that when we visited the town, I booked us into the London Hotel, which is this beautiful hotel right downtown, right on the river. And we stayed in a great hotel. I took him out to some good deep dish pizza. What's the place? Fiorello's? Is it Fiorello's? Giordano's?
Well, Giordano's is one of them.
Giordano's. I took him to Giordano's, and then I took him to the Kingston Mines. I bought him a couple pints of Guinness, even though he was underage. We went to the Art Institute the next day.
Wow.
And when we were leaving town, he was like, I'm going to school in this town.
You did it. It's the best.
Yeah.
If show business was in Chicago, I would have never left.
Yeah, it's a shame, it's a shame that we all have to live in Los Angeles because I mean, this is a great city, but I feel like I'd just like to live somewhere else for a while.
Yeah.
I'm a little burnt on LA.
Yeah. Chicago is the best. I always say Chicago is the best town in the country. You have to admit, New York. Now I know you're from Massachusetts.
No, I'm from New York.
Huh?
Everybody thinks I went to college in Boston, so everybody thinks I'm from Boston. Yeah.
So you got no complaint with saying New York is the greatest city in the country.
Greatest city in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no. You don't even try an argument. Done.
Yeah.
Nothing compares.
Right.
But Chicago's the best town in the country.
Right. Right.
Fuck yeah.
You know what I was?
One second. Sorry, sir. Did you have anything you wanted to say about Denmark more? Was there anything you feel like you need to defend about Denmark?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Well done.
That's 1 to 10.
Oh, well, at least he recognized numbers.
And I will wish you this. Gott Nudol.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
You know what? I don't.
Happy New Year. I said Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year.
I hate to put this, but it's not delicate. But as we've been talking about parenting and our failures, your dad failed you.
And he wasn't even an alcoholic. He has no excuse for failing you.
No.
Well, it's the only thing I'm sure your kids went through this too. There are certain cultures that insist their kids learn the language.
Yeah.
And these kids are typically having to spend their Saturdays and Sundays at a different language school,
right? Learning
not only the language, but the culture.
Right.
And so they have to do it, and they don't speak it anywhere else except that temple or that whatever.
Right.
And it's really like, And so the only way to, at the time, so your father is my age. And so we grew up like, we're not going to force our kids to take on traditions that we don't feel are going to really, impact their life one way or the other.
Yeah.
Because, it's a decision. Like you don't want to embarrass those kids and make them do all this stuff. It's like when kids learn a language at home and they go to school and they don't speak it. So they try to forget it because they want to assimilate for where they are. So it's hard. I want to condemn your father and commend your father.
Yes.
So it's neutral.
Yes.
Keep them posted.
I'll say,
like Denmark, it's neutral.
Yeah. It's what's the word for cunt?
Fisa.
Your father, is a or?
No, I don't know if they call somebody a fisa. I think it's the actual piece of flesh between the legs is the fisa.
So it's a noun.
Yes.
Your father is a fisa, but in the best possible way. He's a good cunt.
With two ends.
He's the Irish. It's like an Irishman calling you a cunt. It's a compliment.
Or a Brit.
Yeah.
Fucking cunt.
So how did you end up as Dave Koechner's assistant? What was your previous experience? Was there an interview? Was there a resume? Did you beat out other people for the job?
Yeah, I fought through a crowd of several thousand people. It was a sort of death match, pretty reminiscent of Squid Game, if you're familiar with that show. We actually played red light, green light, and David was just calling it out. And then I finally get to the end, and I'm talking to one of his former assistants, Paige. And
of course, I remember Paige.
Yeah. And so she reached out to me and said, "Hey, you looking for a job? Are you in LA?" And I said, "I'm about to move, sign my lease. What is it?" And she says, "How do you feel about working for David Koechner?" And I went, "Who?" So that was my first response.
Again, and then your father has failed you. Yes. He should have shown you Anchorman.
Well, no, it's Todd Packer from I know who that is.
Yeah.
I'll give you the real story. Paige was my former assistant. I adore her. She's great and caring And so she and I had a meeting about some other projects. She's now working at a production house, and she was pitching me a couple of things.
So working for you as a springboard in this industry, you would say?
Yes.
Yes.
And so I said, I need an assistant. And she said, I'll find you one. Because I'm like, I'm not going to go through those fucking hiring squads. What do you call those things? Placement places. She goes, I'll find you one.
Yeah.
And so I said, so you're going to go through and look at all the resumes? And she said, yeah, I'll take care of it. Now I realize she never intended on doing it. She already had a person in mind, because within a couple of days, I found you someone. And then she didn't say, she goes, I found you someone. The person's name is Jens Tulio. So I'm thinking, that's a weird, is it short for Jennifer? Anyway, so Paige is from Minnesota. Jens is from Minnesota. How did you guys know each other, you and Paige?
It all started in a farm in Princeton, Minnesota. I was talking to a farmer about what I wanted to do in LA. I was going into my senior year of college. And it's
where a lot of the Hollywood networking takes place, is at farms in Minnesota.
That's where a lot of the greatest networking has come from, farms in Minnesota, interestingly enough. And I was talking to the farmer about what I wanted to do, where I wanted to move. And she said, hey, let me connect you to this woman that I know. Turns out it was Paige, and it turns out that Paige's best friend, John Mark, is a choreographer that I worked with in the cities, as well as her mom and my mom were connected professionally through women entrepreneurs in Minnesota. So we kind of had really small, intimate connections that we didn't know before we had met each other. But Paige and I didn't previously know each other.
Now, are you a dancer?
Am I a dancer? No, I did dancing through musical theater in high school and in college, but I'm an actor.
So you were a theater major in college, right?
Correct.
He went to Webster in St. Louis.
I went to Washington University.
I got it wrong. And you have publicly corrected me, so you were in trouble after this.
So there wasn't a resume, or he would have known this.
Right. Paige told me she had been mentoring you. Is that true or false?
This is true.
Okay.
Paige has been a mentor for me for the past year.
Okay.
When she and I connected last summer, she gave me the lowdown of where I should be looking to live. She told me kind of shoot for the Valley, Glendale, North Hollywood. That's where a lot of the young and sprungins like to go in Los Angeles. And once I finally settled on a place, she kind of coached me on how to look for work, because I wanted to be a personal assistant for somebody. I got stuck with David, so I guess
he got stuck with a nobody. Hello. So we connected, I think through email first, and then I realized, I should call you. And then you were on your way
to the golf course.
No, to a craft beer job at a state fair, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So you were hustling. You had a couple side gigs going.
I did. I just come back from the summer working at a summer camp in northern Minnesota and was getting prepped to move, signing my lease and whatnot. So I was just side hustling in the cities while I got my stuff together, and I was pouring beer and serving beer and drinking beer.
Unbelievable.
Not necessarily in that order, but it was great.
Now, is he going to give you flexibility if you have an audition come up or something? Is that something you guys have talked about?
David affords me no flexibility. He's honestly, there's very little wiggle room here.
If you get an audition, he won't let you go and then goes in your place.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Why am I not up for this?
Right.
It hasn't come up, but of course, I wouldn't stand in the way. Although he did work a job on the weekend as a production assistant, and I think it paid more hourly if you do the aggregate, correct?
Correct.
Because it's an amount per day, correct?
Per day.
Okay. Yeah.
And you get paid per week by David?
Hourly.
Oh, you get hourly.
Per week or biweekly, whenever the money comes into the account, I smile a little bit.
That hasn't been established. You should be paid every week. No?
Yeah, I get paid every week.
Okay. But so he worked as a PA. Was it over the weekend? Was it 2 days?
It was Sunday. It was the iHeartRadio holiday special.
Right. Okay. So, but I took 10% just because I want to make sure that, hey, you go out and do these things, it's going to cost you in the end. So,
and I would assume you're getting 10% of Paige's salary at this new job, right?
And 10% is also like all the free shit that I got from being a PA. This is what I appreciate about being so low on the food chain, is that I get to go home with a bunch of free shit at the end of the day. So I came home with peanuts and apples and toilet paper and what else?
Sparkling water.
Yeah, LaCroix. That made my day. got to go.
Well, I think you're also going to come into a lot of gift bags because David is invited to a lot of celebrity events, and you usually leave with a tote bag that's filled with a bottle of wine, maybe a coupon to go get a massage. There's always like pot. They always put like some kind of CBD oil, and that's going to be coming your way as well.
Yeah, because those events haven't been happening forever.
No, they're happening. I just went to one yesterday. I went to the Emmys had a golf tournament to raise money for helping young people get started, I guess, like scholarship funds and whatever.
Like show business?
In show business in Hollywood, yeah. Huh. So it was at Riviera, which is like the best golf course in LA. And of course, you know the weather yesterday. It poured raining. And so I'm playing with these high profile network executives. Like this one guy in particular is like one of the biggest guys in Hollywood, and I'm in his group. And so we go out, we tee off, and it's already raining. I wasn't even going to go, but I was like, I really should go because this is, you know, I don't do a lot of networking. I don't, you know, so I was like, I got to show up to this thing. This guy's a big deal. So we get on the course, and of course, they've all got like Gore-Tex rain jackets, Gore-Tex pants, big wide brimmed waterproof hats and umbrellas. I got on like a wool sweater and some khakis. And so
the sweater will definitely hold the moisture.
It wicks it. And then, so after 2 holes, I'm soaked. And then after 4 holes, it starts, you saw it yesterday. It was sheets of rain blowing sideways, and it was about 58 degrees out. And these guys, they're alpha dogs. And nobody is going to quit because they don't want to be the guy that quits. So we played 9 holes. Every time you sat down on the cart again, there was a puddle of water that you sat in, and my shoes were filled with water, sloshing. It was miserable.
Was it always just going to be 9 holes?
No, it was supposed to be 18. But the network executive, we all quit after 9. He kept playing.
How long have you been golfing?
Since I was a little kid.
Oh, you love it?
Love it.
Wow.
Taught my son. I'm playing with my daughter now a lot. Yeah, it's great.
In my life, I have played 5 rounds of golf.
Oh, really?
So, you know, I didn't come to it until I was 40s. And then it takes a lot of time. And here's the thing that kept me from taking up golf. My ex-wife said years ago when I was considering it, she said, if you take up golf, so am I. That ended that. What is the purpose of golf? I'm gone for 5 fucking hours.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, why would I spend 5 more hours?
Uninterrupted. You can't even pretend to take a phone call. It's just you.
You know Richard Kind?
Yes, of course.
Richard Kind loves golf.
Yes, I've played with Richard Kind.
He and I often will be on the set of The Goldbergs. He and I have been in, we've done a couple of episodes, and I love Richard Kind.
Yeah.
Great. I love that man. And he was talking about golf, and I said, should I take up golf? And he goes, how old are you? I was 58 at the time. And he goes, no, too late. You know, the impact it has on your body, right? You don't take up that sport at 58.
No, especially not. You do not have the mindset for golf. There would be a lot of clubs flying through the air. There would be a lot of profanity. I don't think people would see the best part of Dave Koechner on a golf course.
Well, we don't know if there is one to begin with. I tell you what, I don't think I'd ever do 18 fucking holes.
It's
9
a long
is
time.
Plenty.
Yeah. 9 is. Now, you shouldn't play more than 9 for the first 3 years that you play golf. You should go to the range a lot. You should take some lessons and play 9 holes. But, you know, it can be fun. And it really is a nice way to spend time with friends. I mean, that's the thing I love about it the most is that it really is. Everybody's phone is off, and, you know, you're not, and you don't talk about your lives. Like I'll come home from golf, and my wife will be like, hey, the guy is mowing the shrubs outside of my office right now, so it might be a little loud. So how's Michael's wife's cancer? And I'll be like, he birdied 5. He got a birdie on 5.
And
Not sure about the wife.
First, Mike's married? He was wearing gloves. I didn't even look at his hands. Huh?
So Richard Kind and I played golf together in Sun Valley, Idaho. And it was, and I mean, the other great thing about playing golf is you get invited to these amazing tournaments. So I get invited to do a benefit in Sun Valley, Idaho, and we're going to be flown on a private jet.
Wow.
And it was me and Richard Kind and a couple other comics, and they're flying us in. And the other guy on the private jet is the guy who played the pilot in Airplane.
Hayes? No.
Yeah. Yes. Hayes. David Hayes? No.
He did 3 of them, right?
Yes. Anyway, so he's on the plane and we take off, and then and there's 2 pilots, and one of them comes back and says hello, and he recognizes him, and he goes, "Oh yeah, from Airplane." And he's like, "Yeah." He goes, "Yeah, funny thing, I actually, because of that movie, I got my pilot's license."
No shit.
And he goes, "Well, do you want to fly the plane?" And the rest of us are like, "Whoa. No, he's no good. We don't want him." And he got behind the wheel and he flew us to Idaho.
No.
Yes.
So what, was he a pilot?
Yeah. He really was a pilot. He had his pilot's license. Yeah.
Okay. I hate to pick through anyone's bones, but he wasn't able to turn that into a career.
No, he didn't. Nor did the woman who played his wife. Oh no, she did stuff. She
was she had some stuff for a while. She once played my wife.
No kidding.
And she's got to be at least 10 years older.
She is so talented.
Yes, very funny. And a sweet woman.
She carried that movie. I mean, she was the center of that movie, really.
Yes. She was the innocent.
Yes.
She was the audience representative.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I want to say Richard Hayes, but I can't remember.
Well, if your assistant was any good, he would have already Googled this. And
already done it.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know how he's going to take lunch today. Right? Isn't he doing it now?
Speaking of which, I should let you guys go.
Why am I picking up my phone?
I'm going to let you guys go and go to lunch.
Are we done?
I mean, I could talk all day, but
we're going to do this one piece of business.
Okay.
I still feel like we haven't got to the conversation.
Robert Hayes.
Yes.
This makes me want to have you take me to of course, this isn't convenient for you. There's that little course here in Studio City.
I would do that in a heartbeat. I'll come up and play golf with you up there.
Just for maybe 3 holes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I can rent clubs that day, right?
I got clubs. I got extra clubs for you.
You got a shitty pair?
No, my son is away at college, so I'll bring his.
Okay. I'll sign them.
All right, so
I'll tell your son I'll sign them.
So many things I want to promote for you. You're on a million shows right now. We didn't even get into the fact that you did a celebrity dating show. Mm-hmm. Even though you have a girlfriend, so it wasn't it wasn't a legitimate date.
The whole concern is fake. My girlfriend gave me permission to do it.
Okay.
And when I talked to the people, they said that nobody goes on these dates. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. And then as I digested the 3 contestants that were on Celebrity Dating Game, all 3 of them had an agenda. They weren't looking for love. They're always looking, if you're on television, you're doing that for a promotional thing.
Right. One
was a writer, one was an actress. And the woman that I had chosen, she was a life coach.
No, isn't your wife?
Can you believe
your ex-wife a life coach?
Yeah, well, yes, by title. So I thought, Jesus Christ! But yeah, all of them had something to promote. But they know you're not gonna go on a date. And she lived in Phoenix.
Okay, okay, yeah. So not even a kiss. Just take care. Nice meeting you. Yeah.
And I didn't even see the episode I was in. I don't think she did either.
Wow.
But like that, yes, I got permission from her to go on it. Yeah. And yes, we're still together. It's been 2 years.
Nice.
And my God, there's not a sweeter human on this earth.
Really?
Met her briefly a couple times.
Yeah.
When you meet her, you go, my God, that's an angel I just met.
Just a down-to-earth woman. She's wonderful.
That makes her sound unattractive. Well, she's down to earth. He's dating a homely girl? She's down to earth. Why? She has no choice.
She's crafty.
Yes. She's beautiful, but the human that she is even more beautiful. It's just incredible. So, yeah.
Wow. And is she about your age?
Uh-huh. You try to Jens? We'll talk about that the next time we're on the episode, so I can tell you it wasn't intentional.
Yeah.
It happened.
Paige set it up?
Huh?
Paige set it up?
No. But that's I won't even I won't ruin the story by giving an encapsulated version because I can't say anything in less than 3 hours. But
all right,
so that's going well, and I'm so happy.
All right, we'll promote now. Yes. Are you back on the Goldbergs? Is that back?
I still reoccurring the Goldbergs. I haven't posted the dates yet, but we have how many stand-up for next year, Jens?
12
dates going through June. And do you always book your whole year in June?
No.
Do you do 6 months at a time?
Yeah, about 6 months.
Yeah, I'm holding off. I'm like, wait. I'm not going to start booking past June.
Especially, you don't know what your TV schedule is or your movie schedule. You should never do more than 6 months.
I know. And, I hate having to cancel gigs.
Yeah, right.
And it's, I just look at that like, I'm probably going to do about half of those.
Now, I haven't seen you around town. You're not doing spots in town lately.
My whole last hour was all about my family.
Oh, okay.
It don't ring true right now.
Right.
Because it's not true. So I've got to rewrite everything. I'm like, God damn it. And that's just one more job I'd have to do, And
that's a lot of work. That's not a small job.
No. So, I've got a couple of pieces I could throw out and I could go up for 15 minutes and I don't want to go apologize. Here's something I kind of want to work on. I hate that.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm kind of looking at a couple of different approaches of how I want to go out and do something. But
okay.
Whatever. So I got to go out and start. I keep getting asked and I'm like, no, because then I have to stop everything else and come up with a competent 12 minutes.
Right.
I think I just want to go out and lecture people for 15 minutes.
Isn't that what you were doing?
Woo!
DavidKoechner.com, KOECHNER.com for tour dates. Check out the Goldbergs. Also, he's got a pilot he just shot called Rock Me. We'll see if that gets picked up. And then a film called National Champions will be
That's a really good one. It's going to be great. It's a drama, but God damn it, it's good.
And then what is this one? Izzy Lion, The Unspun Truth.
That's probably, it was a dad who went from my kid's former school. He asked me to do it as a day. And I said, sure.
Okay. So that's not a big one. All right.
When will this one drop?
This comes out on Tuesday.
Next week, Tuesday.
Yeah.
All right. I'm starting to do a new thing on Cameo. They have a new offering where you can do a live show. It's called Cameo Live.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it with a fellow improviser called Paul Valancourt. And the first one is going to be the 27th of October. We hope to do it weekly. So you pay to tune in. It's basically, we're calling it the Power of Improvisation because we're so passionate about it and how it does continue to inform my life and my work. And so it's basically I'm going to call it a talk show. It's for 30 minutes to half an hour. There's two options. You can just be in the audience or you can be in the front row where you get to ask questions. So it's basically an investigation of how, you can use improvisation for your life or your career.
I love it. I'm going to tune in for sure. I'm going to be in the front row.
Oh, are you going to go to Joyride tonight?
To where?
Joyride.
What's that?
It's Dana and Bobcat's movie at Largo.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I can't. The guy I played golf with yesterday just texted me that he's got COVID.
He wasn't vaccinated?
He was double vaccinated and he still caught it.
Huh.
Yeah. But look, we were on a golf cart together. We were outside. He wore a mask because he said he had a cold. So I don't think I got it, but I have to kind of like quarantine for a week or so.
So he got the Delta variant. I had the Johnson vaccine in April, which has come to find out it's the least effective against the variant.
Oh,
and I went to Missouri
really?
to see family when that hotspot was in Missouri in July.
Yeah.
I came back sick as shit for 2 weeks.
And did you have it?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because the Delta variant ain't nothing to fuck with.
Right. Right.
God
so
bless.
now you're well. Now you've got good antibodies because
I've got super immunity. I could have made out with and then blown to fruition that guy.
Yeah.
I still wouldn't have it.
Yeah. I only kissed him, and so I think I'm good.
Yeah.
But it was a hell of a 7-iron. He hit it from 170 and he nailed it. What are you going to do? A man is. All right. And so go to David Koechner to find out David Koechner also to find out how you can get involved with this Cameo thing, which sounds like a lot of fun. Jans, it's such a pleasure to meet you.
It's Jens.
Jens.
But real quick, where is Jan Stenerud from? Former Chiefs kicker.
Jans.
It's with a J. Jan Stenerud. You sort of brag about Jens.
He's Norwegian American. No, we don't like him.
Jesus. I'm only hanging out with Jenses, no Janses.
No Janses.
And then also I wanted to congratulate you, David, on going to the San Antonio Comic-Con, where you were quoted as saying to an interviewer, "What do I like most about these events? It's the enthusiasm of the fans. Really warms your heart." So I'm really glad you had that experience.
I think that's a nice soundbite I was trying to come up with, and you've done it. Where am I going to be next for Comic-Con?
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island. What's the dates?
November 4 to 7.
November 4 to 7, Comic-Con in Rhode Island. And I know you have an international podcast. What are the dates for Liverpool?
Liverpool, November 12 to 15.
So come out and see us. And then we're doing the Steel City Comic-Con. What are those dates, Jens?
December 9 to 12.
Oh, that's going to be fun. Come on.
Your heart is going to be so warm this year by the people. David, you warm my heart. I appreciate your time. I love hanging out with you.
It's an easy thing for me to say. I love you, Greg.
I love you too, David.
Yeah. I love you.
All right.
And like you said at the top of this thing, this is so much fun because we never get to have time together.
I know. Well, I really will hit you up. I'll take you out. We'll play some golf, and I'll hear some more stories about the new girlfriend.
Love it.
Okay.
All you got to do is coordinate that with Jens, and let's go do it.
I love it. Okay, brother. Take care.
All right,
Thanks
brother.
for hanging
I love
out,
you.
Jens. All right.
Okay. Bye.
See ya.